Another Bitcoin signal has triggered. Is the crypto market finally waking up? I quantify the edge with Monte Carlo and more, all on today's REKTelligence report. As a friendly reminder, everything in today's show is for informational purposes only. There is no investment advice given. All right, let's get into the show. Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Dave. This is the Edge Report, where I quantify specific opportunities in equities, crypto, credit, and occasionally beyond. Today, it's a crypto focus. A Bitcoin edge has triggered. All the details ahead. The Bitcoin edge, which just triggered, has a very elegant entry condition, simply a 60-day closing high. The exit condition is inside my Crypto Traders Edge course with a lot of Bitcoin and altcoin edges, full code, and a lot more. And the query sizing you'll see here today is essentially 100% equity per trade. Technically, in PineScript, it's 99.9% to avoid missing any signals. Bitcoin made this entry very quietly. You can see the white box here. This is April 16th, last Thursday. Had some follow through the next day, a couple of days of backtracking, a little bit of consolidation basically. And today, as I record this, which is on Wednesday, we can see there is some Bitcoin upside, a more forceful breakout. At least as I record, it's up roughly 5% above the triggered entry. Traders, crypto is not a wild, unruly market. It's an asset class with 500% more time for price discovery and opportunity. My new course, Crypto Traders Edge, is now live through Algo Advantage, one of the top quant pods and academies out there. A full systematic framework, backtesting, strategy development, validation, real edges with full code, not hype. Links in the description, or head to my Substack at REKTelligence. Now back to the show. Let's take a look at the overview for this edge, 2017 to the present. I'm removing some of the early years of Bitcoin, full of outliers, and this is a bit more what we can expect now, arguably. So 48.14% annualized return. Win rate is in the high 50s, 57.5%. Hit rate, essentially, max drawdown as defined by TradingView, 29.95%, call it 30. Profit factor, 2.405. Average trade is almost 16%. You can see average win-loss ratio 1.77 and MAR is 1.6. Decent equity curve. I love to visualize any trade history for any model I'm working closely with, and you can see that here in this trade P&L scatter plot and strategy analyzer. A couple things I want to point out. First of all, on the red side, on the loss side, you can see here several losses. It's not the preponderance of activity, but the largest is negative 14.7% here. And that is relatively modest for a Bitcoin edge, in my opinion. On the gain side, the major observation is on the left-hand side. You can see several very robust gains. You can see the 86.6, 79.3, and then the one I have highlighted with a tooltip, trade number 13, 140.73% in early 2021. There was a lot of impulsivity at that time coming out of COVID where stimulus was widespread. We haven't had that kind of environment, of course, since pandemic or no pandemic. We just haven't had that kind of rush of liquidity. But you can see in more recent times, there are several trades all out of sample there that are in the 40s, well, 131.4%, then 46.3 and 43.9%. But more recently, you can see a lot of small losses. This is what this edge is going to do in a period of uncertain price action, consolidation, and essentially a bear market that we're in now. It is poking and jabbing, looking for an edge. The new trade, of course, is not in here. These are closed trades. Maybe we will get a gainer and something a bit more robust with this new instance. It's crucial that any model passes a statistical significance test. I have two in this program, and I want to see it at least pass one, preferably two. Here's the empirical t-test, and we can see it does pass this significance test. The t-statistic is greater than the critical value. Let's move to a standard t-test, and we can see the p-value here is 0.0159. This is less than 5%, meaning there's a far less than 5% chance that these results are due to randomness and noise. So it passes both tests. Obviously, this is a positive. We can learn a lot about any edge or model using Monte Carlo. Here we've got a risk-return distribution, which shows 1,000 Monte Carlo simulations where we scramble the order of the trades or trade sequence and also use sample with replacement. And what we have here in this graph is the blue square representing the actual backtest, both in terms of cumulative return and max drawdown. Any green dots are showing above backtest return results, and any yellow are showing profitable below the backtest. And no one's ever concerned as a developer about this part of the graph, this quadrant. This is the concern where there are outlier drawdowns on the right-hand side. Now, are they the preponderance? Well, let's look at the next image here. We've got a max drawdown distribution graph, and we can see both the actual backtest as well as a slightly greater distribution of slightly greater drawdowns, not dramatically. And then we see a low chance, but nevertheless one to consider, of the 95th percentile, where drawdown is in the 45 to 50% range. So less likely, but certainly possible. Important to remember that we're looking at stats where 100% of equity is employed. Most traders are going to pull back on that. They're going to trade a lower percentage of equity or another position sizing method altogether. Obviously, lower percent of equity is going to pull back the percentage return expectations, but also dramatically help drawdown, so keep that in mind. If you're a discretionary trader looking to get a jumpstart with full code and edges in crypto, or perhaps you're already quantitative but don't have anything into crypto space, check out my Crypto Traders Edge course. You can find that on my website, tradingfromparadise.com. Also, my promo rate on Strategy Analyzer, which releases in days, is now available to early signups. Check it out, tradingfromparadise.com. Thanks for watching today's Edge Report. Nice to see Bitcoin triggering an edge. And we didn't talk about it, but many altcoins also triggering signals. Folks, I will see you in my next video on Monday, the All Markets Report. Until then, trade smart, live well, and cheers from the Caribbean.